Silence yourself and listen quietly as the sound of the conch shell is an invitation to settle our hearts and minds as we prepare to receive the Dharma. Thank you.
Is that silent? Namandam, 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 namandam.
Aloha, everyone. I am Wendy Terada, and I will serve as your MC this morning. Assisting at the temple with technical support is the Zoom crew of Joey Gussman, Darren Katayama, and Stephen Koneko. Kareen Chong is our organist. Please rise and let us start the service with the Vandana and Tisarana. Please chant both the Pali and English parts together with Reverend Blaine.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami. Namandab, 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 namandab.
Please remain standing. Reverend Blaine will now share an aspiration.
Please join me in Gasho to reflect on the words of Honen Shonin as recounted by Shinran. Persons of the Pure Land tradition attain birth in the Pure Land by becoming their foolish selves. How grateful we are to be embraced just as we are, with all of our fears and doubts, as we walk this path together with Amida Buddha, entrusting ourselves to the dynamic working of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion. We call Amida's honored name in gratitude, joy, and awareness. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Please be seated. It is now time for the offering of incense. We invite all Sangha members in attendance to please come up and offer incense if you wish, starting with the front rows and moving towards the back. Let us observe a moment of silent meditation.
Namandab, 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 namandab.
Reverend Blaine will now lead us in chanting the Sutra Jusege. Words can be found on page 55 in the red Jodo Shinshu service book and on the screen. Again, page 55 in the Jodo Shinshu service book.
The Buddha of infinite light and life made vows to embrace all beings equally without exception. These vows promise to create a perfect world where no suffering or evil exists and guides us to supreme awakening. The Jusege, or verses reaffirming the vows, is a poetic summary of the basic intention of the 48 vows made by me, the Buddha, to attain supreme enlightenment, to save all her suffering, and to declare universal liberation through the name Namo Amida Butsu. We chant the words of the Buddha as a reminder of these great vows of compassion made to liberate and to awaken us all. The Jusege, verses reaffirming the vows. 강원 조생안 이심은 조노 싱안 흠만소 세프 조숑아 가오문 영어 부인나이 세시 부사이 쇼빙게 세프 조숑아 가시 조문노 묘쇼 조제포 그교미쇼몬 세프 조쇼가 리오그진쇼는 조에시본교 시금의조도 이쇼텐닝시 진리기엔다잉고 부쇼무사이도 쇼조산금요 고사이슈야그난 가이지행엔 매싱온모한 해소그쇼와그도 스낙센시몬 고소조만소 이요로제포 니징간시주기 젠곤흥엔 이심가이호소 고세그도그호 조다이시즈 세포시시그 그요이사이붓 그소그시도그혼 간내신조만 도그위상가요 뇨붓무게치 스낫미프쇼 간가그웨디 도시사이쇼손
싱안야고가 나이센오간도 고그쇼텐닝 도의진묘게 간니싱의도그 묘도세이사이 노혼모나이싱 오조의 나만납 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 나만답 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 나만답.
Please rise for the Gatha Song of Hope, also known as the Coca-Cola song. Words can be found on page 4 in the orange folder and on the screen. Again, page 4 in the orange folder. 4.
We'd like to share our song of hope, of peace and harmony. Started from our little church at Kona Honganji. We'd like to build a chain of love to stretch across the sea, to treat each other with respect and show humility. We hope each link turns bright and strong, and that means you and me. 8-fold path and 3 treasures bring peace eternally. That's the song we sing. We each have a part. Place your hands together, and I'll show from the heart. Namu Amida Butsu, sing it from your heart. Namu Amida Butsu, this is where to start. La 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la.
You may be seated. Today's Dharma message will be shared by Reverend Blaine.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I almost feel like people can just move up and be a little bit closer. Especially you, Kim, in the back, yeah? But no, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome back to Korean after being gone for so long. Nice to have organ music again, yeah? So we kind of eased you in, yeah? We didn't have to do a gatha, yeah, this morning, so. So on May 21st, right, we observe Gotane, right, which is the celebration of Shinran Shoning's birthday. I'm reminded of his extraordinary legacy, not only as a renowned religious figure, but also as a profoundly authentic and approachable human being. Shinran's willingness to call himself Gutoku, or foolish, stubble-haired one, reveals the depth of his humanity and his honest self-reflection. Unlike many spiritual leaders who might seek reverence and acclaim, Shinran openly embraced his imperfections, inviting us to recognize our own limitations and to find comfort in our shared humanity. This is why we call ourselves Bombu, right? Foolish beings. And this is why we offer our sincere gratitude to Amida for the compassionate embrace, for Amida's compassionate embrace, and to Shinran for his profound wisdom for sharing this way of honest and sincere living with us. Shinran often laments in his writing, and he says, "The shinjin of the wise is such that they are inwardly wise and outwardly foolish. The heart of Gotoku is such that I am inwardly foolish and outwardly wise." You know, locally we say, no akya. And here we can see his spiritual maturity, right? A lesson for us to strive to live with a similar self-awareness. At the heart of the Nembutsu path is acceptance of our full humanness as imperfect beings and the cultivation of profound gratitude for the dynamic working of wisdom and compassion, known as Amida Buddha in our lives, that never forsakes us. Realizing his own limitations as a human being and his inability to achieve enlightenment on his own, Shinran awakened to the working of Amida Buddha in his life. And so this twofold realization, right, was a transformation enabling him to truly live with this entrusting heart of shinjing, or of true entrusting, right? So Shinran teaches that the heart of reality, right, making itself known to us through the name Namo Amida Butsu, right, is the sound of the universe calling us home to ourselves, encouraging us to wake up to our lives from our spiritual slumber. It reminds us that we are always living together in oneness with that which is true and real. Shinran teaches us how to truly live in this world of trouble, of samsara, of difficulty. You know, what's remarkable about the Pure Land path that Shinran shared is that the practice of Nembutsu is grounded in our everyday lives. After leaving Mount Hiei, we learned that he had trained as a monk for 20 years. From the age of 9 to 29, Shinran left the mountain. He married, he raised a family, and he lived the ordinary life of a householder while continuing to say the Nembutsu as his exclusive practice. Because of this, Shinran considered himself neither monk nor lay, right? Living in this spiritually in-between place that affirmed his full humanness, right? All that he was, all that he brought to the Buddha. Professor Takamado Shigaraki describes the spiritual journey of awakening as the Nembutsu of everyday life, in which we think on the Buddha and say the Nembutsu in whatever condition, whether laughing or crying, angry or happy, that we may find ourselves in. Through this Nembutsu practiced, every day of our lives, a path opens up before us. And on that path, we are able to realize and experience true awakening and attain Buddhahood. This is the path that Shinran experienced and that he revealed to us. In his book, Awaken to Your True Self, The Shin Buddhist Way of Living, Dr. Hideo Yonezawa writes, in becoming one with the power beyond self, we receive the strength to live through anything. This is called awakening to Namo Amida Butsu, awakening to one's true self, or meeting one's true self. The Buddha Dharma is the path that teaches this awakening. And when we meet the Buddha Dharma, for the first time, there arises an aspiration to live authentically, to live with a sense of sincerity and purpose in our lives, right? So the Nembutsu taught by Shinran is a path to becoming a true and real human being, not a perfect human being, right? We're far from perfect. But to become true and real and sincere human beings that live with honesty and deep gratitude for all that life has to teach us. One of the most remarkable aspects of Shinran's life is his ongoing engagement with doubt. Rather than seeing uncertainty as a flaw, he recognized it as an inevitable part of our spiritual journey. Shinran's teachings encourage us to entrust ourselves to the compassionate wisdom of Amida Buddha, even when we are troubled by questions and insecurities. In this act of entrusting, or shinjing, we discover spiritual resilience, a quiet strength that helps us to face life's challenges with clarity and confidence. In the Tanisho, we learn of his doubt and how it becomes the ultimate assurance of Amida Buddha's compassionate embrace. In this writing, Yue Embo, a devoted disciple of Shinran, comes to Shinran troubled by his lack of joy in shinjing and his reluctance to go to the Pure Land quickly. Yue Embo's honest expression of doubt is met with Shinran's own admission of the same uncertainty and anxiety and having no desire to go to the Pure Land quickly. And with this realization that this is a sign of living with the assurance of our liberation, right? So Shinran could have easily told him, oh, you stupid, yeah? Like, what's wrong with you? Right? Don't you get it? Right? But he came down to his level, right? Came alongside him, honestly expressed his own fears, his own doubts, right, along the spiritual journey. But because of that doubt is the awakening to that which is true and real already working in our lives, in his life. And so he assures Yue Embo that he is not alone in his doubt, in his fears, right? That he is a fellow traveler along this path, and we are all equally embraced and carried along the compassionate vow of Amida Buddha, right? So the more we doubt and come to recognize our own limitations in the light of Amida's wisdom, the more assured we can be of our own ultimate birth in the Pure Land, right? It's like a beam of sunlight streaming into a darkened room, right? Illuminating the dust particles in the air. This is how Amida's light reveals our true nature as both limited and firmly embraced by compassion. It could just mean that you need to clean more often too, yeah. Right, but we all struggle, right? Every day I struggle with my own doubts and anxiety amid so much pain and chaos and injustice in the world. Yet every day I sit before my home altar, my Butsudan, in the dim morning light, bathed in candlelight and surrounded by wisps of incense. Hearing my voice and Amida's in the chanting of sutra and in the Nembutsu And in that moment of a stillness, I bring my whole self, all of my hopes, my fears, my doubts, laying them bare and entrusting them to Amida. And in that surrender, I know I am truly held in Amida's vow and can face life's uncertainties with a clear-eyed confidence and resolve. Shinran's teachings emphasizes accepting our limitations and opening ourselves up to something larger, something bigger than ourselves, even when it's not fully understood. If we are skeptical or doubt, that's fine. It's actually the beginning, right, of our journey, of coming home to ourselves, right? And so this Pure Land path isn't about certainty, but about taking that step despite our uncertainty. Often, right, we understand that real transformation and change starts at that moment, when we take that next step, despite not knowing where our foot will fall, but knowing that we are always held firmly in the Buddha's embrace. This is how Shinjing, right, our entrusting heart, becomes this foundation for overcoming adversity. It's not blind belief, but a deep trust that arises from this honest self-examination and acceptance of our flaws. Shinran's humility and honesty makes him profoundly relatable, offering a model for embracing doubt and cultivating spiritual resilience. His life teaches us that courage is born from vulnerability and that clarity emerges when we fully entrust ourselves, despite our uncertainties, despite our doubts. So in honoring Shinran, we celebrate not only his wisdom, but his enduring humanity and the inspiration he offers us to face our own challenges with grace and authenticity. What a remarkably honest way to live this brief, beautiful, yet complex lives we are living. Right? This is how we can live in joy, right? The joy of the Dharma. That joy is not always being happy. That true joy, right, that Shinran talks about, that true spiritual joy is this confidence, is this certainty that no matter what happens in our lives, no matter what tragedies we face, no matter what hardships that we endure, that we can meet it headlong, eyes open, with open hearts and minds. Right? That's the gift that we have been given, right? That Dharma offers to us, right? That Shinran offers to us. And so this is why we revere Shinran, we honor him on his birthday. And so, in closing, please join me in Gassho to recite the Nembutsu together, entrusting ourselves to the dynamic working of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion. We call the name of Amida, the Buddha of infinite light and life, with profound gratitude, abiding joy, and an entrusting heart. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Mahalo, everybody.
Thank you for your Dharma message, Reverend Blaine. It says here, I will now lead you in unison reading of the Golden Chain of Love. Words can be found on the laminated handout in the back of the pews and on the screen. Please recite the passage together with me. Folks have this. Golden Chain of Love, yes. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Thank you all. We will now have the offertory presentation. Mahalo for your generosity, everyone. Please rise as we will conclude this service with singing of the Gatha Nembutsu.
Namanda, 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 namanda. Namanda, namanda.
You may be seated. Okay, this concludes today's service. Here are some announcements of the upcoming schedule of services and events. Next Sunday, May 24th, regular Dharma family service will be held at 10 a.m. The Dharma message will be shared by Minister's Assistant Linda Nagai. Sunday, May 31st, military remembrance service will be held at 10 a.m., sponsored by the Konohonganji Boy Scouts Troop 59. Reverend Blaine will share a Dharma message. No services on Sundays, June 7th and 14th. Heads up. Save the date of Saturday, June 13th for the 2026 Obon Fest at the Maka'eo Pavilion at the Old Airport. This event is a kickoff to the Obon season. There will be lots of craft booths, food trucks, and cultural activities. Craft vendors will be open at 4 p.m. At 5 p.m., the program begins with a short service, followed by fun bon dancing until 9 p.m. Volunteers are needed to help with the drink booth, retail donation booth, comfort crew, and to set up and break down. Donations of drinks as well as monetary donations will be greatly appreciated. Please refer to Reverend Blaine's weekly email and the June Jiho for information on shifts and other details. Okay. Any other announcements, Reverend Blaine or anyone else?
Schedule of events. We will have service on June 7th. Linda will be able to take care of the service on that day. So we will have service on June 7th. So, but just no service on the 14th. After Obon Fest, we'll be recovering from the festival. I'd like to welcome Lois Kashiwase from Florin, a Buddhist temple, who joined us this morning. Thank you for joining us. So welcome to Kona.
Anyone else? No? Those of you on Zoom may leave at any time. Those of you here in person, refreshments will be served in the conference room. Thank you to Glenda Yamagata Pasalakwa, Kim Lindner, Linda Nagai, and Molly Nakano for providing today's refreshments, and to anyone else who brought goodies to share. Please eat a lot because 4 of them brought, so there's lots for you folks to have. Mahalo to Maki Yamaguchi for preparing the altar rice balls. Your attendance today is very much appreciated. Please stay safe, and we hope to see you at future services and events. Let's go. Hey, right on. Thank you, everybody.